Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Every Day is Friday. Before we dive in, remember to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Today, I'm really excited to welcome Dr. Paul to the podcast. He's a true game changer in the health world. He's an expert in hydrogen science, gut recovery, and brain health. He's the founder of Echo Water, a powerful brand helping people heal naturally. Dr. Paul, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's an honor.
And let's get into it. I got a lot of great questions lined up. For the listeners who may not be familiar with your line of work yet, Dr. Paul, can you give us a quick rundown of who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So I'm the founder and the creator of Echo Water. We're the original and best hydrogen water company in the world. When I mean hydrogen water, I mean the devices that make true hydrogen water. And we were the original brand almost 15 years ago now, creating the first system. It's becoming very popular, obviously, because many people like Joe Rogan and Gary Brecka and people like that who have promoted our brand kind of blew up this space.
Yes, it's a very cool topic. Not a lot of people know about hydrogen water.
Right.
And it's always fascinating to hear the why behind someone's passions. I mean, how did you first learn about hydrogen water?
So it was almost by accident in a way. So this is a story I've given hundreds of times, and this is what happened. So in November of 2005, my wife and I went on a cruise with some friends. And the reason we were on that cruise is because that was a thank you gift from them. We loaned them some money to help them after 9/11. Their business was suffering. And I ended up forgiving the interest because they were not able to pay me back as quickly as they thought. And so they eventually did pay back. And as a thank you, they took my wife and I on a cruise. Now, the first day of that cruise, my wife was on the first day of her menstrual cycle. And at that stage in our marriage, we've been married 31 years now, but we were married roughly 10 years then, almost 11 years. And she would be bedbound. Mostly during her menstrual cycle, she was not able to get out of bed. And so here we were, first day of the cruise, driving down from Kissimmee, Florida, which is where we lived, down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And she was doubled over in pain in the back seat. So we get on the cruise and my friends are like, hey, here's your water for the cruise. And we're like, what are you talking about? It seemed really strange to us that you would bring water to drink on a cruise. And they're like, oh, don't drink the water on the ship. We brought this for you. And I'm like, what is it? And they're like, well, it's just gallons of water. It's this alkaline water that saved our company, right? And I'm like, that's how you saved the company. And they're like, that's how we paid you back. That's how we saved the company. And I'm like, well, tell me all about it. And they're like, well, we don't know much. All we know is people are buying water by the gallon. It's helping them with all kinds of medical issues. And we love it, right? And I'm like, okay, that's all you know about it? And they're like, pretty much. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a little bit troublesome. So I put the little suitcase in our cabin. My wife went to bed. I went to art auctions, came back to check on her. You know, I'm going out to look at the pool, come back, different things. I don't want to be a jerk, but I also don't want to just sit in the cabin, right? And understand this was a 9-day cruise. We were going to Costa Rica. We were going to Panama. We were going many different places. And I was like, my wife's going to be on her cycle for 7 days. She's only going to maybe see 2 days of this cruise. How horrible is that? So here we are on the first day. She gets thirsty and says, can I have some of that water? And I'm like, of course, babe, here you go. And I give her some water. And she's like, can I have some more? Can I have some more? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, honey, I can't stop drinking this water. Like my body is craving this water. And she put her fists together, you know, and she's like, I can't stop drinking it. And I'm like, okay. I will not drink it. You drink that water. I'll drink whatever toilet water they said was on the ship. And, you know, joking aside, but off we go. Within a day and a half, she was up and around and participating fully in the cruise. And I was like, whoa, what in the world is going on? And so I asked my friends again, are you sure you don't know anything about this water? Like Jacqueline's up and around and it's helping her. They're like, yeah, we assumed it would. That's why we brought it for her. Cause we were good friends with them. And of course they'd known us for years and they knew Jacqueline had horrible menstrual cycle and anemia and thyroid issues, gynecological issues, on and on it goes. And they're like, that's why we brought it, was to help her. Cause we really believed it would help her. And I said, okay, well, it has helped her. Thank you, because she's now enjoying this cruise. And we're going to have a blast, right? For the last 6 days of the cruise, she's going to enjoy it. And so that was great. Well, I get off the cruise, and to be honest with you, I didn't think another thing about it. I was grateful that it helped my wife, but it wasn't like I was like, oh my gosh, I have to research this. I have to do this. No, I was just grateful that it helped her on the cruise. We go back home. I was in the world of diabetes at the time, trying to prevent decubitus ulcers and amputations, and that was my whole world, is ankle down. And so I go on with life. Well, in about 6 months, so you're talking April of 2006, I was like, hey, honey, when's your menstrual cycle? Like, we always planned our month around her cycle. And she's like, I already had it. And we're like, what? You left the house. Like, we didn't even know. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're right. And so she had been getting slowly better, and no one was paying attention, which is pretty normal a lot of times. It's the new you. And so here we were, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty serious. I need to look into this. She goes, yeah, I've been getting that water still from their business, and I've been getting a gallon every week or so, and I've been drinking it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So here we are. And I'm like, I want to do research on this. I want to figure out what is actually going on, because my friends clearly don't know. I talked to the guy that sold them the machine, that owned the company. He didn't know, really. He was making all these claims, but he really didn't know anything about medicine or anything else, or the mechanisms of healing or anything like that. So I just had to try and figure it out on my own. In the process, I ended up joining a company, and we grew that company from $1.5 million to 21 million in 3 years. And we were selling thousands of machines a month. And it was during that time that I discovered that hydrogen is what the mechanism is. And so then I went to my partners at the time and said, hey, I don't want to talk about alkaline anymore. I think it's all nonsense. There's no truth. There's no science to it. This microclustering thing you're talking about, completely false science. Basically, everything is not true that you guys originally told me when I joined this company. But what is true is hydrogen gas. And that's what I want to pivot our whole marketing, because I was the COO and the VP of marketing and stuff. And so they're like, oh, wait, we have thousands of people selling our water systems. We can't change up our whole messaging. That'll be terrible. And I'm like, it's not terrible. It's truth. We need to share truth. And they were not interested. And so in 2009, I exited. So my birthday, August 2nd, 2009, exited and began to develop Echo. By 2011, we launched and we're shipping machines. The Echo 7 was the first machine, and the entire focus was hydrogen gas with Echo Water, and has been. We didn't have the technology originally to make hydrogen water at a neutral pH. So we were making hydrogen water and still alkaline. But the problem with the alkaline machines on the market at the time is, in a few weeks, if you didn't clean them with citric acid, you would have calcium build up on the cathode, and so you wouldn't be able to dissolve the hydrogen gas anymore. So I was creating a machine that didn't have that problem, because we were reversing the polarity of the electrodes every single time you turned the machine on, so it was impossible for calcium to build up. So even though we still had alkaline and acid water, we were keeping the hydrogen in it, which the other alkaline water companies were not. And so that's where it all started. Within a couple years, we were able to create additional technology to where we could go with a neutral pH, and we've continued to advance that since.
How interesting. I mean, what makes Echo water different from regular filtered water?
So what makes it different is filtered water is water that has contaminants out of it, right? To whatever degree of filtering mechanism you have done, whether it's a softener, it's a carbon filter, it's KDF material, it's reverse osmosis, it's distilled water. So you have many different mechanisms to filter water, and each of them are more and more and more robust. So some people just want to get chlorine out so it doesn't taste as bad. Other people really want to remove the heavy metals, the pesticides, the fluoride, the pharmaceuticals, the glyphosate, all of the microplastics, the blood pressure medications, all the drugs that are in water as well. And so there are different levels of filtration available, and everyone gets to choose how much they want their body to be a filter. The more you filter water, the less your body has to be a filter. And I always say, don't be a filter at all. Buy a filter that is really good and robust. So, of course, we have very robust filtration with Echo products, but that's the difference. Hydrogen is added to water in a dissolved state, and that's what Echo Water is. Echo Water is clean water with no contaminants, and then we dissolve hydrogen gas into the water. The reason we do that is because there's 1,500 studies showing that hydrogen will reduce oxidative stress, inflammation, manage neurologic function, cholesterol reduction, diabetes, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, cancer. There are over 200 disease models so far. Joint issues, gut issues. So this is why I did it, because after my wife was helped, I said, oh my gosh, there's got to be a lot of husbands and people that don't know what to do with their wife. Let's give them a solution. And so Echo was launched as a result of my wife's healing process. And of course, now there's millions of people worldwide, 15 years of selling machines and portable units and whole house filtration across the globe.
So hydrogen water from Echo Water really helps your body fight inflammation. I mean, how does that work?
So oxidative stress is your first problem. When you have gut issues, your body ends up with oxidative stress because your body would naturally keep oxidation in a normal range, but because of gut dysfunction, oxidation rises until you end up with oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is unnatural, and it's where your cells are not functioning properly. Once you have oxidative stress, your body will deploy inflammation to help and to mitigate the problem. If you don't remove the source problem, and therefore oxidative stress and inflammation are there all the time, it's called chronic inflammation. The combination of oxidative stress and chronic inflammation is disease. So that is your leading cause of disease, is the combination of oxidative stress and then inflammation. Now, I'm not talking inflammation like you bump your knee on a door and you have inflammation temporarily for a couple of days. That clearly is very good. I'm talking about a systemic inflammatory response, cytokine storms, different things that occur in the body where your body is in an inflammation process, and combined with oxidative stress, your body's in trouble.
What kind of people see the biggest results from drinking Echo Water?
People with chronic conditions would see the biggest results because they have the biggest things to fix. People that, the more healthy someone is, the less they're going to feel right away. But over time, they're going to experience wonderful benefits. I would say that these chronic conditions, where let's take, for instance, someone with diabetes. If you're measuring your blood glucose every day and it's high and you're having to manage that with oral medication, or type 1 diabetes where it's insulin, then drinking hydrogen water has been shown in 77 studies so far to normalize or reduce blood glucose within a matter of days or weeks. That's a huge benefit. Within 3 to 5 days, imagine if someone has diabetes and they can drink water, Echo Water, and because of the hydrogen gas in it, it can help them. That's a tremendous benefit. Now, let's say you have rheumatoid arthritis or other joint issues, or let's say you have a hard time with sleep, or let's say you have ADHD or ADD and it's hard to focus. Those kind of things people will notice quickly, because once you don't have those issues anymore, if you don't have joint pain anymore, and it's the first day you're drinking water, and within the first day you can feel your joint pain differing, and then the next days it greatly reduces, that's a huge benefit. And these are the kind of things that are experienced. Joint issues, gut issues, people that are gluten and dairy intolerant, not a guarantee, but typically within a couple of weeks, they can see a significant difference. To the fact where some people no longer have gluten and dairy intolerance. And so therefore, they can eat whatever they want to eat. So that's some benefits, I would say.
Yeah, can you drink hydrogen water every day?
Yeah, of course. I've been doing it for 20 years.
So hydrogen water can help people who feel tired all the time as well?
Yes. So there was a study on coffee versus hydrogen water, and it was on a group of individuals that hadn't slept in 24 hours. So these were sleep-deprived individuals, and they measured how much energy increase came from drinking coffee versus a group that drank hydrogen water, and then they crossed them over. So the energy increase in the individuals drinking hydrogen water was 10% more than coffee, but there was no decline within 15, 20 minutes. The individuals who drank the coffee had a spike in energy, but within 20 minutes, they had a significant reduction in energy. The people with the hydrogen water had a spike and then no reduction in 20 minutes. It took much longer to have a reduction of energies. That study showed that hydrogen is a more effective way to increase energy for those individuals sleep deprived than would be caffeine or coffee.
Dr. Paul, can you explain for the listener that may not be familiar with Echo Water is how do you get the hydrogen in the water with your system?
So we use a proprietary proton exchange membrane, and it is not a traditional electrolysis. And the reason why we don't use traditional electrolysis is because traditional electrolysis will introduce hypochlorous acid, ozone, and chlorine into the water. And I know this is going to be a shocking stat for people, but 99% of the products being sold on the market that are quote unquote hydrogen are not hydrogen. They're scam products. And they even will use my videos. And clearly I don't endorse anything but Echo. It's my company. And so I would never endorse another product because there are hardly any products on the market that are legitimate hydrogen products. Like I said, 1%. So we're the largest company in the world. We're the original company. And the way we separate water molecules is with a proton exchange membrane, not traditional electrolysis. Traditional electrolysis have electrodes that are very close together, and they change water into alkaline and acid streams. And when you keep them in the same area, the pH will stay neutral, but you'll have chlorine, hypochlorous acid, ozone, and other things, and it's never predictable. We use a proton exchange membrane, which means the electrodes are spread apart. They're separated by a membrane that's called a proton exchange membrane. And what the difference is only H2 gas is allowed into the drinking water. Oxygen, ozone, chlorine is all pushed out a port and out of the membrane and out of the chamber itself. So that membrane moves hydrogen into your drinking water and nothing else. So the difference with Echo is we are the company that makes pure hydrogen water with nothing else in it. No metals, no pesticides, no chlorine, no ozone, none of it. And why do I mention heavy metals? Because the other companies use cheap electrodes. And you can end up having metals precipitate into the water and having toxicity in the water. Definitely you have chlorine, hypochlorous acid, ozone, which is all not good to drink. We have tested third-party testing Echo water from every device that we make. And there are no heavy metals. There are nothing in the water other than hydrogen gas because we make proprietary electrodes that have multiple layers of platinum that are not degrading and not having issues with overheating and other problems. And so there's a major difference. And there really is a major difference. Someone the other day told me, Paul, people need to know that Echo water is hydrogen water and then all the rest of the products are scam products. And I'm like, you're right. You know, it should have been when Gary Brecka was talking about Echo water that he wasn't always saying hydrogen water, because by saying hydrogen water, it validated every product in the market that said they were hydrogen water. But the problem is most of the bottles on the market are pure junk from China. And if they're under $150, it's impossible that they're a proper hydrogen unit, first of all. And no one should ever purchase a hydrogen product that does not have IHSA certification. In other words, it's met the standards of IHSA. We were the original company, the first company to have all of our products IHSA certified, and we're still all certified, every product. But we're the only machine in the industry that accomplishes this. There are a few other bottles, but there's no other machines.
That's such good knowledge to know. I mean, some small changes, simple changes can make such a big difference. Just drinking hydrogen water.
Right. And this is the sad part. The people that are being scammed on Amazon by buying a $60 bottle, $30 bottle on Temu, on Alibaba, on Amazon, they're literally drinking chlorinated water and they're not getting much hydrogen or any hydrogen. Depends on the product. And so many people go on our Facebook pages, our social media, and say, I had to end up buying your bottle anyways because the water tasted like swamp water because it's like chlorinated water. And it's unfortunate because now they've wasted more money than needed to if they would have just bought the appropriate product to begin with. And that's what we're saying to people is you have tablets out there, right? That people are promoting as a better choice. That's the most expensive way you can get hydrogen water in your life. And I don't know that it's official yet, but there are companies out there that are promoting laboratory tests showing that there are things in it that you probably shouldn't be having in your body. And so we'll see how that all lands out. But what we do know is there's no contaminants in Echo Flask or the water that you're getting out of our devices. The only thing we add is hydrogen. And once you buy one of our devices, it's a captive cost. You can have a family of 4. It doesn't matter. They're all drinking water for the same price. There's no increase in cost when you buy our Echo Flask and you use it 3 times a day, 4 times a day, 5 times a day, 6 times a day. But if you get tablets, you're spending $1 every time you use it. So if you have a family of 4, it's $4 a day for one treatment. But that's not the case with an Echo Flask. Once you have our device, the entire family benefits. With the tablets, you probably have to sit there and think how much you like each individual in the family and how many of them are you going to allow to have the tablets or not, right? Like maybe I don't want you, little Johnny, to have the tablet because that's $1 every time, right? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to think about, once you find something like, don't you want to benefit your entire family? Don't you want all of your family to be healthy and doing wonderful? Of course you do. But with the tablets, you'll spend $1 every time. And if you do 3 a day, now it's $3 a day. So now you're $60 a month. And imagine if the Echo Flask lasts 5 years minimum with no reduction of hydrogen for 5.5 years, you would spend 1 tablet a day for that same amount of period, $1,500. So literally tablets are 5 times the cost. And if they have contaminants in them, now you're poisoning yourself. I'm not saying they are. I'm excited to see if there's a substantiation to the claims that I've seen. But the reality is, why get more magnesium than you should have in your body? Because we definitely know people that are taking multiple tablets are getting more magnesium than they should in their body. And so what we offer the world is clean, pure hydrogen water with no side effects, no issues, no overdoing of minerals in your body, none of that. It's just pure hydrogen. And really, our bodies are designed to make hydrogen. That's what flatulence is, partially. We're supposed to make hydrogen in our gut, but because of gut damage, we don't. And so that's why I developed all this, was to help people heal their gut and to have their body function like they had hydrogen in the first place, like they're supposed to.
Dr. Paul, why is gut health so important for our whole body?
That's a great question, Matthew. It is the $1 million question, because if you want to live a long, wonderful life with no disease and no issues, you will keep your gut intact. It is believed that 70% of immune function is tied to what bacteria you have in your gut. Anxiety and depression is tied to what bacteria you have in your gut. The ability to process all types of food properly and ferment foods is tied to the bacteria that's in your gut. Your mood, your mental health has more to do with your gut than anything else. So your ability to run around the block and not feel fatigue has to do with your gut. Mitochondrial function, hydroxyl radicals, all these things have to do with your gut. And so having your gut function properly is everything, from your antioxidant pathways, your elimination pathways, your brain, your mitochondrial function, your efficiency at pushing out disease models, or even just viruses or bacteria in your system. Having your immune function be correct, I think we've all learned in the last 3 or 4 years how important that is. And your gut is the most important part of your immune function.
And drinking hydrogen water and using your Echo water, it helps the gut in so many different ways. I mean, it helps your brain and everything else. What's one thing that people can do right now to help their gut?
Drink Echo water. So literally, we have people that within 2 weeks of drinking 3 to 6 of the Echo Flasks per day can eat whatever food they want. They don't have anxiety, depression. They don't have all the results of gut issues. And what's really happening is when you drink the Echo water, because of the hydrogen gas in it, you're repairing gut electrically. The bacteria come back in your gut and create communities. That's what's most important, is the bacteria in the gut, which should be predominantly anaerobic microflora. 96 to 99% should be anaerobic microflora. If you have an antibiotic for a life-threatening bacterial infection, hey, that's why antibiotics were created. But if you have a virus, the worst thing you could do is take an antibiotic, because it's going to destroy gut function, and there was no legitimate reason to do it, because antibiotics do nothing for virus. Viral infections are not affected. Only life-threatening bacterial infections, that's the only time we should be using antibiotics. But we use antibiotics, especially in this country, way too often. And so we have most of the public walking around. I would estimate 85, 90% of the public walking around with gut dysfunction, which means they have low immune function. So they're susceptible to invasion, right? Let's say it this way. If all of a sudden we only had 30% of our military, we would be susceptible to invasion. The point is, that's how most people are walking around with 30% immune function, so they're susceptible. And when they get hit with something, they go down. If you increase your immune function, you can, when you sit on a plane, people are coughing, right? People are sick. There's no way possible that you can get on a flight anywhere, any time that there aren't someone on that plane that's sick. You're breathing all the same air. Now, when everybody gets off that plane, some people are going to get sick, some people are not. What's the difference? It's immune function. It's your body's ability to fight that off versus not. If your body can't fight it off, you're going to get sick too. If your body can fight it off, then your immune function is intact and you're not going to get sick.
And
I'm sick maybe once a year.
And everyone's always heard of a trust your gut,
Yeah.
Can hydrogen water like help you focus and just in your memory at all?
Yes. So there are a ton of studies on neurologic, 22 studies on Parkinson's. You got studies on Alzheimer's. You got studies on all kinds of, disease models. Hydrogen, when it hits your stomach, within 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you're going to have gastric ghrelin going to the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, and brainstem. It's going to change plasticity of the brain. It's going to change function. It's going to change cognitive function. And definitely, it can improve memory and clarity. Quite honestly, people that are a little scattered, it helps them focus down.
So would you say, Dr. Paul, hydrogen water helps detox the body at all?
Water is required for all elimination pathways. There's only 3 main ways to get toxins out of your body. You pee it out, you poop it out, you sweat it out, you breathe it out, right? So pee and poop, I'm putting it as one. Peeing and pooping is one option, sweating, and then breathing. 50% of water loss in the body is breath. Most people don't know that that's where half the water goes out of their body. If you don't believe me, just go outside when it's cold and breathe, and you can see the little fog that comes out. Clearly, you wouldn't see that unless there was moisture in your breath, right? So what we really want to understand is when you're drinking hydrogen water, the body's going to take that water in because it wants the hydrogen. Now you can make fecal matter because you can't make it without water. Now you're going to be able to urinate. And guess what? That's where toxins come out of your body through urine and defecation. If your pathways are not working properly, then yes, you'll sweat out, you'll do other things, you'll have acne on the skin, other issues. But if you can pee and poop properly, then the toxins are going out. You're not going to have those issues as much on your skin. Now, if we're dehydrated, we won't be able to have moisture in our breath, and we have other issues like asthma and things like that. So all we need to do is be properly hydrated. Many times, not always, but many times, that gets rid of asthma. It's just chronic dehydration is the symptom. So when we drink water, we can pee stuff out, poop stuff out, sweat stuff out, breathe stuff out, and then we get the contaminants out of our body and we can be much healthier.
Now, Dr. Paul, where can people learn more about Echo Water and try it themselves?
They can go to echowater.com, ECHO water.com. If they want to learn about the science, go to hydrogenstudies.com. That's hydrogenstudies with an S.com. And that is a whole website. You can go to search hydrogen studies and type in the search bar anything you want, from nitric oxide to peptides to cancer, Parkinson's, diabetes, whatever, gallbladder, pancreas, whatever it is you want to learn about. But that's the places to go. But what we're hoping to have people understand is that Echo Water is the true hydrogen water company. And most, not all, but most all other products are scam companies or companies that are less than 2 years old, because they're just riding on Echo's coattails. They're riding on the fact that Joe Rogan, Dana White, all these people talked about how Echo Water helped them. And therefore, they now are just saying hydrogen water. But the problem is most of the products are not. So be very careful. Don't get scammed. Buy the original and buy the best.
That is so true. That's great knowledge to know. And that there will be a link down below if you're interested in the Echo Water. And all right, this is the time of the show. I want to transition to the Friday mindset part of the show. I want to dig into your journey, your mindsets, the moments that shaped you. What's been the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Forgive easily. Forgive others easily. I will tell you, I've gotten really good at forgiving in my life. And some people believe that it makes less of you when you forgive someone else. I think it makes more of you. I think that all of us are screwed up. We all make mistakes. We all do stupid things in life. And we're always looking for forgiveness. Let's learn how to readily forgive others. And I will tell you, we've been commanded to love and to forgive, but we've never been commanded to trust. Trust is an earned thing, but forgiveness and love is a choice. We can choose to love people. we can choose to forgive. Now, we don't have to put ourselves in a position to be harmed again. And I would always say, don't hang out with harmful people when possible, especially abuse. Abuse should never be tolerated in any form in society. But I would tell you, forgiveness is something that frees you and frees the other individual, and it keeps us healthy, I believe. And there you go.
No, that's a great takeaway. And Dr. Brown, I really want to know what kind of legacy are you going to leave?
Well, hopefully I'm going to leave millions and millions of people that don't have disease models and are living their divine potential. That's really what I'm interested in, is for people to enjoy life, live their divine potential, because I believe we all have a divine potential no matter who we are. We have a divine potential and we can do great things. But if we can't get out of bed or we can hardly walk around, it's much harder to do great things. I simply want to return the body to the way it was created to function and be, so that everyone can go and be who they are designed to be. That's really what I hope my legacy is. That's for sure.
That is a great legacy. And the show is called Every Day is Friday, and Friday has a special energy, whether it's freedom, excitement, or just feeling like accomplishment after a long week. Dr. Paul, I want to hear from you. What does Friday mean to you?
Oh, let me tell you, Friday is date night for me. I've been married 31 years, and I still date my wife Friday or Saturday night, depending on the week. I'm in love with my wife. We date. We are best friends. We continue to do that. So for me, Friday nights is like, okay, let's have fun this weekend. It's a weekend. Woohoo! That's Friday for me.
Bring that energy into everyday life. Every day is Friday. Dr. Paul, this is your chance to lead the listener to something powerful. Is there anything else you want to share?
No, you always become more when you think of others. And I'm not saying sacrifice yourself. We do need to have a self-esteem. We do need to have self-love. But as we extend love, grace, and forgiveness to other people in life, doesn't matter. I'm not talking religious. I'm talking if we can show love and lift other people, we will be lifted in the process. Look outside of ourselves. Look for ways we can serve, love, and lift other people. We'll always be lifted in the process. And hopefully that's not why you're doing it, but you're grateful for that response, right?
Well, Dr. Paul, I appreciate you being here. That's a wrap for this episode. I know a lot of listeners got a lot of value out of this. It's been an amazing conversation. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. And please go get some Echo Water. I'm telling you all, you will feel the best you've ever felt. That would be, hopefully they take action, right?
Yes. Hit the link down below. And to everyone listening, make sure you stay tuned for more amazing stories on Every Day is Friday. If you enjoyed this, make sure you follow, share, and keep that Every Day is Friday mindset going. Stay inspired and make every day feel like Friday. Until next time, everybody.